Welcome to AlphaCars and Royal Enfield Boston. My name is Ian. We have Justin behind the camera. Today we're talking about the new Royal Enfield Himalayan 450s, specifically the concern of them being a tall motorcycle. We sell tons of these bikes. We're having a hard time keeping them in stock. We keep ordering them, and we're actually getting a big shipment of tubeless models just at the date of this video. So check out our inventory on our website, alphacars.com. You can see all the other exciting bikes around me as well, including the new Going 350, and we're getting the Guerilla 450 in just in a few days here. But anyway, back to the Himalayan. The number one concern or question we get from the people interested in these motorcycles is about the height of it. They may not be a super tall rider. It might be hard to get your feet down on the ground and especially pick the bike up from the lean it has with the factory kickstand height. You may even read online of people talking about that. So I'm gonna address that in this video. What's cool is we have a Himalayan here. This is a customer bike. We sold them this bike. They have some awesome accessories on it, like these bark buster handlebar protectors, the engine protection, some nice Jivvy luggage on the back. But we just installed a Cuba Link lowering link in the back for them. And then we also adjusted the front, the fork height via the triple clamps, so to equalize the drop. So in this video, I'm just kind of whetting your appetite. In this video, we're gonna compare the standard Himalayan as you would get it. We've even got a yardstick as a measuring device just for reference to compare the two. So we're gonna compare the lowered bike with the standard seat and the standard height versus the standard bike with the standard seat and the standard height. Also in this video, I'm gonna talk about the seats. There's different seat options for these Himalayans, and the seats are adjustable as well. There's sort of like a high and a low setting, and it also adjusts the angle of the seat slightly as well. So I'm gonna show you how to do that in this video. If you are interested in these bikes, if you're interested in genuine parts to service your bike or aftermarket parts, or even cool merch like this Royal Enfield shirt, you can get all that on our online store, shop.alphacars.com. We can ship all this stuff right to your door, and we've got a huge selection. It's always growing as well, so make sure to check back for new parts frequently. But with all that being said, let's get into the video. First, we're gonna start with the seat options for your new Himalayan and the adjustability that's built in with the factory mounting system, which is pretty cool, actually. Seat options. This is the standard seat. Royal Enfield says it's 32.5 inches off the ground, and with that mounting system, you can adjust it a bit higher if you'd like to 33.2 inches, and it also adjusts the angle of the seat, which we will see. I'm gonna show you how to adjust this in just a minute here. They also sell a low seat. So it looks kind of the same. It's just the base material is shaved lower as it would be, and that gets you under 32 inches. So that is 31.7 inch seat height. And then of course, with the factory mounting system, you can kind of play with it and get it a little higher or a little angled differently if you'd like. The third seat option is the touring seat. And that seat has the same sort of height as the standard one, but what we hear from customers is A, it's very comfortable, they way prefer it over the standard seat, and B, since it's more comfortable, they sink into it just a bit more, and they actually can reach the ground a bit easier. That's what we hear from people. We haven't tested that per se here, but that's what our customers are telling us. Now regarding adjusting the seat, if you want to adjust it up, or some of these bikes, depending on how they're built at the dealer, whether you're buying from us or not, just check what position the seat is in. It might be not in the standard position when it's brand new, just depending on, like I said, how the bike was assembled. And you can tell also by the spacing on the front of the seat on the tank in this little indentation. But now getting to that how-to, take your key. There's a key slot right here. You turn that, and that pops the rear cushion, which on our bikes, we put the factory toolkit under this one and the owner's manual with the little bungee there. So I'll put this here for safekeeping. And this seat pinches this one down. There's a couple tabs in here. So once the rear seat's off, you just pick this up. So now I've brought the seat up close to the camera so I can show you the mounting system. So we've got the rear mounting point here and the front one right here. Now this is the standard position, which is like the lower position you could say. So all you do is move this to here, move this one to here, and now you reinstall it on the bike. So you can see with these shifted back, especially this one, how it's gonna sit higher and really bump the rear of the seat up a little bit and change that angle. So let's go put it back on the bike. So now reinstalling the seat, it's very simple. It's kind of just the reverse of how you pulled it off, but there's the front bar here, and it just goes into this little channel sort of hook in the front, and the rear just kind of sits on the frame, because remember the pillion seat, your passenger seat, pinches this down and holds things together. So you just kind of set it down and center it, slide it forward. That will hook in there. And you can already notice that the front of the seat has come up, and now the seat's at slightly the different angle. And then we put this on, the hook faces towards the back of the bike. So you put this down, slide it forward, and just give this a hit. And that locks the seat down, and now the seat's all sturdy, and you've put it in that higher position. Our next subject is the lean angle of the Himalayan. Check this out. This is the lowered Himalayan closest to me with the spacer under the side stand, and then the one farthest from me is the standard Himalayan with no spacer under the side stand, and it's at the full standard height. So you can see it's pretty extreme. Even the height of the bike, you can see like the bars and the headlight and the front fender, how much lower this bike is. So on our e-store, you can get that spacer under the side stand, and that'll make a big difference, especially on the full height bike. So whether you're gonna lower your bike or not, that'll make it easier to pick up off the side stand. And even that spacer with the lowered bike, it still is at a very reasonable angle. Of course, if you're on a steep grade, you might wanna be careful of which way the bike is leaning, but it still works with the lowered bike. It still offers the same benefits, but do keep in mind, because those spacers are designed for the bike at the factory height. So once you lower the bike and then use the spacer, the whole thing doesn't sit on the ground flat, because like I said, the angle of it is made for the factory height of the bike. It still does work, but that will be the case. Just keep that in mind if that matters to you. And now the segment I think most have been waiting for, the Himalayan with the lowering link. Before we check out this bike, let's view a fun little montage of this link being installed on this bike. That'll also give you a chance to see the part up close and personal, and it is very high quality. So now that we've seen the highlights of the lowering link installation, I've got the fancy wooden yardstick here, and we're going to get to pure data and science on comparing the standard Himalayan behind me to the lowered Himalayan, which is just out of frame. So let's get to it. So I've got the bike standing up straight here, and getting the yardstick kind of as straight up and down as we can. We're at 33 inches. The 33-inch mark to my eye lines up with this contour in the seat, which is where you would be sitting, and your legs would come down here. Now this measurement, I'm not rivaling Royal Enfields, I'm not validating their measurement. This is purely for reference and comparison of these two motorcycles in this showroom on this flat concrete floor. So that was 33 inches, and this seat is in the standard height, which you can tell by the spacing on the tank there. Now we're at the lowered bike, and I'm standing it up straight. Let's put the yardstick in the same spot. And check this out. Remember, this seat, I did confirm, this seat is in the same position as the other bike as well. So this comparison should be very accurate. And this looks, to my eye, same reference point, 31.5 at this contour. So Kuba Link, they state this lowers the rear of the bike by 1.5 inches, and that's what it accurately has done. The other bike read 33 approximately. This is reading 31.5. And looking at the forks, we can see on the standard bike, this is how it comes from the factory. You can see where the fork tube is. It's kind of just flush with the clamp there. And now the lowered bike, you can see how far we slipped the forks up in the triple clamp. It is the same as the rear drop, which is 1.5 inches. I can confirm that with the yardstick here. Of course, this looks like a little worn at the bottom, but just for reference, it's about 1.5 inches. So our technician made sure to do it evenly, front and back, which will assure really the best resulting geometry and riding characteristics once you lower the bike. I'm gonna throw a leg over each of these bikes, and for me, we're just gonna see how I can touch the ground and just how I fit on them. So first, on this Himalayan, we're gonna get on it, and we can see the angle I'm pulling it up off the ground, which isn't too big of a deal for me and the leverage I have. And we can see I can flat foot this bike. Both feet are flat. I'm not in riding boots. I prefer tall bikes. I dual sport and adventure ride. That's my background. That's what I still do. So this is all good and sweet for me. But for someone, you know, who wants the bike that is a little bit easier to pick up and that's going to be more comfortable, especially you need to get feet down at a stoplight quick or at a stop sign. Let's move over to that bike now, and we can see the difference. Now at the lowered bike, let's get on this one, and immediately, way less effort, less of a lean angle. We can see I can just pick it right up, and it's very easy, very confidence inspiring. And you can also tell I've got a big bend in the knee now. I could flat foot the other bike, but I was just able to. With this, I've got bends in both knees, and I can move the bike all around. I'm very stable. If I gotta stop quick and get feet down and there's like a groove in the road or I'm off-road, you know, I won't have a problem finding somewhere for my feet to go. And after watching this whole video, I wanna thank you for watching this whole video if you're still viewing this, and I hope it was helpful. My recommendation on this, I would first adjust the seat, see if you can play with the angles, if it helps you out at all. If that doesn't work, then maybe try the low seat. Of course, that might not be as comfortable as a standard seat. It's gonna be thinner. It certainly won't be as comfortable as the touring seat. So it's really gonna be a preference thing in the end, but I would recommend trying seat options out first. And if that still doesn't work for you, then go ahead with the lowering link. And of course, make sure to drop the forks in the front to match, so then you've got the best possible riding experience and geometry retained. Of course, if you have us install it for you, which we can do here at AlphaCars and Royal Enfield Boston, we are gonna do that because we believe that is just the thing you should do when you lower a bike. You shouldn't just lower the back and leave the front alone. But you can even view on our online store, you can even view the labor cost involved. So with one click, you can view what it will cost to buy the link and us to install it for you. You don't have to give us a call and get a quote and all this and that. It's one click. You can view the full price installed on your new Himalayan, which is a pretty cool feature that most other online retailers don't offer, because of course we are a parts store and we're a full service center here at AlphaCars and Royal Enfield Boston. So with all that being said, please subscribe if you did enjoy the content, and then you won't miss out on the latest content on these Royal Enfield bikes or other exciting motoring related things we're doing here. I want to thank Justin for running the camera today and helping out there. And with all that being said, I'll see you in the next video.